Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Cowboys send clear message on landing a new quarterback. The Dallas Cowboys already have the team's franchise quarterback in Dak Prescott, but the front office faces question marks at the position beyond the former Pro Bowler. Both Cooper Rush and Trey Lance are set to hit NFL free agency in the coming weeks. Prescott is coming off a season-ending hamstring injury, leaving the Cowboys vulnerable at the position. Cowboys Chief Operating Officer Stephen Jones indicated the team is planning to move in a different direction at the position behind Prescott, potentially drafting a young quarterback to sit behind the star. "You know, I think one of our goals is to get a young quarterback in the draft," Jones told the Dallas Morning News' David Moore on February 24, 2025. "I don't know where that's going to be. That's why we gave a fourth-round pick for Trey. It seems like all the quarterbacks, even guys we have in the fourth round, go in the first. They always go so much higher than what you think." Jones also revealed that the franchise expects Lance to be looking for something different when NFL free agency begins. As for Rush, Jones hinted that the veteran could be out of the franchise's desired price range. "You know how much we think of Cooper," Jones remarked. "We just don't know what he's going to cost. When we're paying Dak what we're paying him, unfortunately we do have to go cheap there." Prescott signed a 4-year, $240 million contract extension in 2024. Spotrac projects the Cowboys are nearly $3 million over the salary cap heading into the offseason. Dallas also has a likely lucrative contract extension looming for star pass rusher Micah Parsons. The most cost-effective way for Dallas to find a new backup quarterback would likely be to select quarterback on Day 3 of the 2025 NFL Draft. As Heavy Sports previously explored, one appealing option could be Louisville Cardinals quarterback Tyler Shaw. New Cowboys head coach Brian Schottenheimer will have a role in deciding how Dallas addresses the depth behind Prescott. It remains to be seen just how early the Cowboys will consider selecting a quarterback in the upcoming draft. "We'll evaluate the whole situation at quarterback," Jones told reporters on February 24. "I mean, you're always wanting to have a young guy coming. That's always a preference, and certainly that's something we'll look at in the draft to see if there's a young guy to start bringing along again. Obviously, we were focused on Trey there when we traded for him, and he was our young guy, if you will, that we were bringing along. But all of those options are things that we'll start to evaluate with this draft," with Coach Schottenheimer, with quarterbacks coach Steve Shimko and offensive coordinator Clayton Adams, and that group, Jones added. "To explore what's available out there, what's going to be in the draft, and make the best decision in terms of what we're going to have behind Dak." How Jerry Jones built the $10 billion Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones loves to tell a good story. He takes listeners along for a ride, mixing in his unique aphorisms as he shares lessons on business and life. Few business stories are as good as his tenure as the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. This week marks the 36th anniversary of Jones buying the Cowboys and its stadium for $150 million, including unfunded liabilities. Today, it is the most valuable sports franchise on the planet, worth $10.32 billion. The NFL and Cowboys of the 1980s were a far cry from where the league and team sit today. The NFL had a pair of in-season work stoppages in 1982 and 1987 that caused lost games and replacement players. The league faced challenges from the upstart United States Football League and drug abuse among players. The NFL was not a TV juggernaut, and Fox wasn't launched until late 1986. Each NFL team made roughly $15 million a year from TV during the decade. The Cowboys were dubbed America's team in the 1970s when they won a pair of Super Bowls, but 1986 kicked off a string of 5 straight losing seasons. By 1989, the U.S. government owned 13% of the team due to seizures during the savings and loans crisis, and the Cowboys were losing $1 million per month. Enter Jones. The oil wildcatter was nearly run out of town his first day on the job when he fired Tom Landry, who had been the head coach since the club's inception in 1960. But the team turned the corner on the field behind the triplets of Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin, who won 3 Super Bowls over 4 seasons starting in 1992. Off the field, Jones revolutionized how NFL teams approached sponsorships, licensing, stadiums, hospitality and real estate. Before 1995, the league controlled almost all sponsor inventory until Jones challenged the system. He announced stadium deals with American Express, Nike, and Pepsi to get around NFL restrictions on team deals. The success of the league has really been to operate as a partnership, Paul Tagliabue, then NFL commissioner, said as Jones carved his own path. The league sued Jones, who then countersued. A year later, both sides dropped their lawsuits, and the Cowboys kept their deals. Last year, the Cowboys had roughly $250 million in sponsor revenue from partnerships with brands such as AT&T, Miller Lite, Bank of America, American Airlines, and Ford Motor. Overall, the 32 NFL teams collectively generated an estimated $2.5 billion in sponsor revenue. In 2002, the Cowboys opted out of the league's shared merchandise system. They still have to kick back their allotted percentage into the league system that shares revenue equally, but the Cowboys' merch business has grown much faster than the league overall and likely approached $200 million in revenue last year from their licensed goods. AT&T Stadium opened in 2009, but an average of 1,500 fans per day still pay at least $40 for a guided tour that generates nearly $10 million in yearly revenue. Jones is spending $300 million to upgrade the venue ahead of the 2026 World Cup. Cowboys signing Von Miller named best fit in hometown rumor. It is an idea that frankly is popping up now, about 3 years too late. The Buffalo Bills seem likely to find a way to divorce themselves from once great pass rusher Von Miller and his $120 million contract. Their big-time signing in 2022, which came while the Dallas area native was also making noise about a willingness to take less to play for his hometown Cowboys, never quite panned out. Miller and the albatross of his contract make him a possible Buffalo cut, with another chance at free agency in his future. And that's where the Cowboys-related rumors are coming from, with one site calling him a best fit in Dallas. Bills head coach Sean McDermott remains a fan of the likely future Hall of Famer. "Love Vaughn," McDermott told reporters at the NFL Scouting Combine. "The thing I love about Vaughn is he very rarely, if ever, used kind of the victim role approach. He always was, 'Hey, I'm coming back. I'm going to be back. I'm working on it.' Mentally, he's just so elite. To come off a knee injury, particularly when you're 30-plus, is a challenge." Indeed, Miller, who will turn 36 in March, last year logged 6 sacks in 13 games. Interestingly, he ended up posting the 18th most snaps on the defense. The very definition of a spot player. A post-June 1 cut would reportedly net $11 million in cap savings. This seems like an easy call in Buffalo. "We're still working through all that. Vaughn last year at this time, we were working on a restructure with him, and he did something unprecedented," GM Brandon Beane said. "He was guaranteed $10 or $11 million, and he took a pay cut below his actual guarantee. And you're talking about a first-ballot Hall of Famer that did that. So a lot of respect for what he did to come back and try and help us chase this trophy. And as the year went on, he showed he can still play. Is it time for Dallas to examine whether that's true? Whether he's a best fit?" Miller is a member of the NFL 2010s All-Decade Team. He's an 8-time Pro Bowler, and there was a time when 14 sacks was simply pretty much what he'd threatened to do. The Cowboys don't need to chase names in free agency, they need talent that fits into the salary cap pie. Miller once said he'd take less to play here in his hometown. Maybe Dallas should take him up on that by offering less, way less. And you, fan? What do you think of Von Miller's situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.